Ready for the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The roll call show everybody's presence except Councilman Weaver. He did call in medical issue with a relative and may not be able to make it tonight, so that was my last contact from him. I believe that'd be an excused absences. But we do have a quorum. We'll move forward. Approval of the agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. We approve the agenda as presented. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Do we have any communications from the citizens? None being, consent agenda, approve the minutes of May 11th, 2021.
I'll move to approve the minutes for May 11th, 2021. Second.
Been moved and second that we approve the minutes for May 11th, 2021. Any further discussion? Corrections, additions? None being, all in favor say to approve the minutes for May 11th, 2021, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Public hearing resolution A. Oh, excuse me. We haven't approved the bills. Approval of the bills, May 12th, 2021 through May 25th, 2021.
I move that we approve the bills.
Second that.
Been moved and seconded. We approve the bills, May 12th, 2021 through May 25th, 2021. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Public hearing resolution 2014 credit card policy.
Want me to read the whole, or you just want the title?
I think we got to read it, don't we?
We can go by title only. Council's delight on how that wants to be read.
I already read it once.
Resolution number 2014, a resolution modifying the policy on the issuance and use of town credit cards. Whereas the town of Shoshoni needs to have a credit card for employee travel and for conducting certain business in the interest of the town. Whereas there exists a resolution 0211/2003, which stipulates a credit card policy, and it is determined to be in the best interest of the town and its employees to make changes. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the governing body of the town of Shoshoni, makes changes to the previous resolution and credit card policy for the use of town credit cards, hereby adopts as follows. All credit cards will be issued in both the name of the employee and the town of Shoshoni. All credit cards will be kept in the possession of the employee whose names they are issued and shall be canceled and returned immediately upon termination of employment. Use of town credit cards shall adhere to the following guidelines. Credit cards are only for official town business and approved travel. Employee is responsible for maintaining receipts as shown on the statement of charges monthly and remitting to the town clerk treasurer at the end of payment cycle for payment of properly coded accounts. Credit card used for approved travel shall be for the expenses of the town employee only and shall not be used for spouses, children, or others not affiliated with the town. Tips shall not be charged to the town credit card. Alcoholic beverages shall not be charged to the credit card. No cash advances or convenient checks shall be taken out on the credit card. Any amounts charged to the credit card without receipts shall be a violation of this policy and may be reimbursable to the town from withholding of that amount from the employee's next regular paycheck. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the governing body of the town of Shoshoni that the above resolution pertaining to town credit card use is hereby adopted as the official policy of the town of Shoshoni.
Can I have a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Can I have a second? Been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution as stated. Any further discussion?
Sometimes with travel, the employee may have, is there a limit on the credit card? And if so, how does, they just go to the clerk and say, I need this limit raised so I can make all the bills?
So the credit card has a limit of $1,000. Buddies and mine are a little bit higher just because of some of our purchases are more than for equipment and things of that nature. So if there is a need for an increase in the credit card limit, that requires the mayor to send a letter or speak with the credit card company, and then they can increase the limit.
Okay, I just want to make sure that that can happen, so we're not stuck.
And so I believe with the mayor's signature, I believe it took, what, 2 days? About 2 days to increase it. So if in advance notice, we can do it.
So, if somebody goes to a conference that spends,
$2,000
Yeah.
for the room and for a week.
Right.
And correct. So we know that in advance, we can have that.
that's what I'm worried about.
And the main change of this resolution is that it shifts. The previous resolution put all the burden for everything on the clerk treasurer on keeping track of receipts, coding everything for all the employees, when it should be the employee's responsibility to maintain the receipts and then properly code their accounts. And it also this would allow or force the department heads to be more accountable for their own budgets and know what they have, what they're spending, and the people below them or what they're spending when they're charging their accounts. That keeps them more apprised of where they are with their budget. So it's just more about accountability on the individual, the employee, as opposed to putting it all on the clerk to have to manage everybody's expenses. And then when their credit card receipts are not turned in, it just creates a hassle. So it just puts more accountability on the employee.
Any other discussion?
Is there a time limit of how long so they have to turn the receipts in within the month?
So, correct. So when we get our billing cycle ends, I believe on the 25th, usually of every month, the department head or whoever was issued the credit card will receive a copy of their statement. And then I'll have a spreadsheet with all that they can fill in the receipts and categorize to what GL it goes to, the charge to. Obviously for council, it's pretty easy because you're, but for, Buddy, Mike, myself, Kathy, or other expenses, there's lots of different things that they're used for. So they would code that and then they would turn that into the clerk would pay. And that way it streamlines things immensely compared to how it has been.
Any other questions? None being, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. fiscal year 22 appropriations, first reading.
Ordinance fiscal year 2022. Be it ordained by the governing body of the town of Shoshoni, Wyoming. Whereas on the 25th day of March 2021, the Shoshoni clerk, Christopher Kojai, prepared and submitted to the council a budget for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022. Whereas such a budget was duly entered at large upon the records of this council, and a copy thereof was made available for public inspection at the office of the Shoshoni Town Hall. And whereas notice of a public hearing on such budget was published in the absence of a newspaper via general circulation in the town of Shoshoni, including on official town of Shoshoni online resources accessed by the public. Whereas a public hearing was held on such budget at the time and place specified in said notice, at which time all interested parties were given the opportunity to be heard. And now therefore be it resolved by the council that the town of Shoshoni budget be adopted as the official town of Shoshoni budget for fiscal year 2022 ending June 30th, 2022. Be it further resolved that the following appropriations as provided in ordinance fiscal year 2022 be made for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022, and that the expenditures of each officer, department, or spending agency be limited to the amount herein appropriated. Be it further resolved, the town of Shoshoni approves a general tax levy of 8 mills on all taxable property within the town of Shoshoni. The town of Shoshoni has a memorandum of understanding with Fremont County Fire Protection District to provide fire protection for the town of Shoshoni. The town of Shoshoni approves to send Fremont County Fire District, 3 mills of the 8 mills from the general tax levy as provided by law for fire protection. Section 1. The following sums of money for the objects and purposes herein specified, which are deemed necessary to defray expenses and liabilities for the town of Shoshoni for the period July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022, and shall be set aside for the following purposes. General administration, $185,627. Mayor and council, $22,321. Municipal court, $49,654. Streets and alleys, $89,804. Parks and rec, $86,554. Airport, $500. Fire department, $15,880. Police department, $469,138. Library, $28,740. Water, $178,498. Wastewater, $118,626. Capital projects, $635,249. Senior housing, $47,418. Senior center, $3,000. Medical clinic, $7,800. Total, $1,939,109. Section 2, providing further that the Shoshoni Town Council recognizes the need to raise the minimum monthly rates for water and wastewater with a $4 increase each year for a 4-year period. The increased rate is required to balance the enterprise funds and provide a depreciation allocation for future replacement, as well as ensure fiscal solvency as mandated by law. The water minimum usage allowed per month will remain at 10,000 gallons per unit, and the fee of $1 per 1,000 gallons of water over the minimum usage allowed per month per unit will increase by $2 to $3 per 1,000 gallons of water over the minimum usage per month. The town of Shoshoni further recognizes the need to increase the rate change for bulk water disbursements by $3 per 1,000 gallons. Effective date of rate increase to be July 1st, 2021. That was enough.
I didn't know if I was gonna have to pitch in and help.
20 more pages to go there. I don't recall, but what does that put us in line with our bulk water with the rest of the
Be
state?
$8. That was,
So it's still cheap, it's cheap.
yeah,
$8 per thousand.
correct, for bulk. The
doesn't say how that $4 increase is going to be spread out.
It's
It could be 1 in 3.
correct.
Yes, correct.
So
Do we need to define that, how it's going to be distributed, that $4 increase,
since
or 2 and 2? I mean, that's my question.
it gives the flexibility to define that, yes. And specifying it, yes. The overall increase for is going to be, it's going to matter because some people only have water, some people only have
That's
wastewater. So
correct.
we need to specify how that's going to be spread out. It's $3 to 1 or 1. Water is hurting more than sewer. And so I think the water, I had proposed $3 originally. But we put it back to 2 and 2. So I would say 3 and 1. If I had to.
That's what I would suggest also, because our sewer account is in relatively good shape. Our water account is not.
You don't have the enterprise funds listed in here?
They are.
Uh,
They're towards the back.
Okay, there it is. Water's fund.
I know the pumps and everything we went through last year we spent quite a bit of money on that. That seems to be for more expenses. Buddy, if you've got any questions, probably could address that. Yeah, we get a motion to approve, we could get there, we can discuss more, but we can get a motion to approve in a second, and then we can go into discussion if the council so desires.
We adopt the budget.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Been moved and second, we adopt the budget. Any further discussion? I'm not gonna rush you through this, so go ahead and look at it. Okay.
You'll note from our workshops, everything remained the same except for a change. After speaking with Buddy and going over our different savings funds, there's $77,000 that two of Buddy's departments, Parks and Rec and Streets and Alleys, have accrued in savings. And after speaking with Buddy regarding the paving of the park and the bathroom, he felt that that would be appropriately used for those two projects, since one's parks, one's streets. I don't know if Buddy wants to chime in on that too, but that is the only addition to the budget from the workshops.
And I know during the one workshop, we talked about prioritize, and one of them was the bathrooms. And when I gave my opinion, priority to me was both. And the reason I said that is, yeah, the bathrooms are priority, but we're putting in a new sidewalk, new curb and gutter with an old street that, you get rain, snow, whatever, it gets underneath that concrete. You're throwing your money away, That's how I felt. That's what I talked to Chris and the mayor about. If we could do that street, it would sure help with the life of the sidewalk and the curb and gutter, because it's just kind of a waste without a new street there, because it'll get underneath that concrete. It's going to be, sinking and get dips in it and so forth. So that was one of the reasons we decided, well, both of them need to be done. So,
And then Buddy and I sat down and looked at what he had in his departments. That money has just been sitting there. And so by using that for those purposes, it maintains the original budgeted surplus of $67,000 for the year. And appropriating those monies for those two projects. Oh, and forgive me. And Buddy also asked for 2 additional surveillance cameras that increase the camera surveillance, security cameras by $860 under general administration expenditures.
No, the improvement of the street would also, improve the visual effects, of the community. And then that there, I might help maybe encourage, I know there's been some talk, maybe some business on that street uptick that would, and I believe that trying to figure out when that street was first paved. I believe it was paved when we moved here in '62. I believe it was paved in the late '50s. That was the first street that was paved. I know they had a bunch of holes in it, when I believe Jay Merritt was mayor. They had some leftover concrete, so they patched a bunch of holes, and that actually worked fairly good for a while. But the pavement chipped away and broke away, and the concrete stayed, so that street is really rough. Councilman Weaver, it's great to see you. Glad you was able to make it back in time.
Gas lights on and.
Very good. We're just reviewing the fiscal budget, and Chris brought up the points of the security cameras that Buddy's requested, and also finishing the restroom at the park and pave the street between First and Second Street on Main Street. Was the recommendations from Director of Public Works.
I just looked at it, still under capital projects. I didn't define exactly what it was, I guess. So it's under
That's
30,000 a year. General fund.
okay.
I just didn't,
It wasn't, that's what I was looking for.
sorry.
Those are the things that were different than when we had our work session.
So the change to the budget, just to catch you up, was streets and parks and streets and alleys, sorry, and parks and rec. Buddy has $77,241 that has never been allocated. And so allocating that to the street and then the parks for that exact amount under capital projects.
What's the meeting ID?
Pardon? Oh, I got your, you can have this one, Bo. I got this actually yours. I couldn't get mine to fire up.
Oh, I wonder why it said Joe. I'll give it back to you. I just didn't catch it.
I got this here. There we go. Upside down, inside out. We got it.
Is that you?
Someone wanting to pay their traffic ticket.
I'll get it.
Like to also note when preparing this budget, we took a conservative approach on the revenue. That was also recommended, I think the numbers from Wham on the
Are you budgeted enough for your firearms training, with ammunition and everything? With the cost of everything being so high?
I believe so. We, budgeted to just under the police department's overall revenue, so it's, we have the miscellaneous that's in there to kind of add into that as a stopgap, so if we need more, I think we'll be okay.
I was just making sure because of all the officers, you know.
Yeah,
That's-
it's,
That's something I don't want to be tied in. Well,
luckily we
sometimes you
went
just
to,
need that one shot.
luckily we went to 9mm, so it's a little bit cheaper.
$6,000 there, that will buy like 3 boxes of primers. Okay, that wasn't appropriate.
I'm pretty sure somebody on council does reloading, so you make me some ammo?
At least they got their primers.
On page 1, line item number 48. Encumbered previous fiscal funds. What are these for?
That's the surcharge from the vehicle purchase. The citation surcharge.
Okay,
And so that's combining this year's,
so it's a carryover back,
Carryover
finish
back.
paying a vehicle off.
correct.
Okay.
There again, Chris brought up any changes from our work session. On the numbers. Any other concerns? Any other concerns? Anybody?
Not at this time.
Okay. Then move and second. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor to approve fiscal year 2022 appropriations first reading. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. So note in the minutes that Councilman Weaver.
Thank you.
We have a new business license for that red roofing.
Move that we grant a business license to Red Roofing.
No second.
Been moved and second, we grant red roofing a business license in Shoshoni, Wyoming. Any further discussion?
I think they're halfway done, so it's a good thing we're on the same page.
We're already putting the roof on it.
None being, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passed unanimously.
There's also a building permit too.
Oh, and a building permit.
I move that we grant the building permit.
Second again.
Been moved and seconded, we approve a building permit for red roofing also. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Do we have some public presentations.
Oh, I believe she's here though. Laura? This is the first disbursement from the benefit fund for you. Okay?
Thank you.
I don't know, you can contact with the next one, probably here in the middle of June.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for coming.
Could you talk a little bit about that?
So I was releasing the first disbursement from the Wasatch Victims Benefit Fund that we created. And I released the funds for half to Laura Conway's family for Daniel, and then the other half to Kelsey Mitchell for her family and kids. Plan is to transfer from the Riverton Depot Foundation in mid-June and disperse those funds again. And then the last final disbursement would be complete by the end of June. And then the fund would end. So 3 disbursements total. This first round was $1,920 to each family. That was raised by the GoFundMe and direct contributions to the bank account.
This might be a good place to introduce our new town attorney.
Well, pleasure to meet the town council. I want to thank all of you for voting to bring me on. I also believe I talked with Mr. Highsmith. I understand there's a lot of work coming up, some of it zoning and as well as speeding tickets. I talked with Chief Police here quite a bit about that. So I really look forward to working with you. And if you have any questions for me at this point, or no? Okay, excellent. I'm available for anybody to call, so that's part of the contract. So just want to make sure you guys are aware of that too.
Do you have business cards here or?
I'll take a look. I ran out last week. I
Well,
don't
that's
know if
fine.
I
Just when you
picked
get
up
them, when you come in again, you have them. I'd like to
Definitely
get
will.
one for me.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for coming.
Oh, just for the audience, what was your name? Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Marshall Keller, attorney out of Thermopolis, Wyoming.
Just heads up,
Sorry.
Marshall's already working on RV zoning. We need to get that done, so he's working on that already, and said he's jumping into it. There again, you're out of Thermopolis.
Yes.
You have a military background too, correct?
Yes, I do.
What is that? Don't mind me asking.
17 years with the Navy.
Mhm.
Vast majority of that's been with the SEAL teams, active duty and reserves.
I just want to say thank you for your service.
I'm Army, so I forgive you.
All right. Thank you.
Very good. Do we have anything else from the public? None being, town cleanup, have we received any?
On town hall.
Okay,
We've received calls inquiring as far as what their parameters are and everything, but other than that, no, not for assistance that I've heard.
I do see a lot of people seem to be cleaning up on their own though, driving around town.
Lots of people working on their homes.
But did offer the service if someone needed some help, that they give us a call and we try to help.
Missed out, sorry. Been gone, but, is there a date? I mean, are we going around like we used to, or?
Thought we decided we'd do it this month.
Okay. Well, like I said.
Yeah, I mean, not a certain date, but yeah,
So,
yeah, this month, if anybody needed help, the month of May, we'd help them. That was my understanding.
It was supposed to be someone, they would call or specify, I think that's what it, call and
Yes.
specify, can you come to my address and pick up this thing instead of, can you show up and pick up all that crap I left out there for you? So it was supposed to be geared up very specific, so whether it was an appliance or mattress, something, so your crew knew what was to be expected, I think is how. It
Yeah,
and we've lined up, say, a dumpster for it. You know, I mean, that's kind of my question is, you know, yeah, if we go pick up a mattress, a freezer, you know. We put, I mean,
we weren't gonna pick up a lot of trash and we were only gonna pick up people that actually needed that.
that was, right.
Yeah, someone that
I agree.
elderly,
You know, the elderly.
like
handicapped,
me, you know.
Oh, yeah.
What about, Chris, that one person that's got that house vandalized with all the windows and stuff over here,
Mhm.
Highway House? That lady, she lives in Nevada. She's an old senior lady, and she's got stuff all over that place. I
Yeah,
wonder
there's
if
a
there's
lot of
something that we could do, even if we just help pick up some of those big things for her. So I know she wants to make a road trip out here because she wants to see the condition of her home. And I don't know, I just shooting off the hip, I drive by and look at it and there's stuff all over and it would sure help the eyes of the town when they're driving through town. Just a thought.
I can give her a call and get with Buddy and.
I mean,
that's
I'd go
something
out there with you, buddy, and help pick some of that up if you need help. I wouldn't mind. It's just, I just know she's older, her husband's passed away and she was using it as a rental and all that kind of good stuff.
Another thing we gotta keep in mind, our hose down. Our differential's locked up until I get that repaired, so, you know, heavy stuff.
Yeah, we don't have to get any heavy. I'd just maybe pick some of the things up, even if it's not much, just to.
Yeah,
Manage.
bought a dumpster, you know. Or just add it to the rest of the.
Do you get any calls that need a dumpster? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Has it been advertised as a flyer or anything? Because
I know.
I haven't heard nothing from anybody. That's why I was like, wow.
I think everybody's just kind of wondering what's happening with it.
We advertise about the electronics in the town yard, but not the actual pickup stuff, but we can. Well, we did in the mayor's letter too.
Yeah.
It was mentioned there. I thought it was.
I think I could go by and take some photos of the yard and show everybody and see if we see if there's something to do, then if not, just leave it. But it was just a thought, because like I said, I know she's,
I know there is some trash piled out
yeah, right out front, yeah.
right on the right of way. You know, it's kind of nice. But
Yeah. And I just, like I said, I know she
it
had a
ain't how
husband.
heavy, it's just
It's hard to fix, yeah, and it's hard to fix that up when she's all the way in Nevada. So, but I do know, I've spoken with her and she said she is wanting to clean up that house, meaning hire someone, fix the house back up, that type of stuff. So that's another good thing for the town if that happens. I have a feeling when she comes out here, she's gonna be a little overwhelmed.
Architect, we have kept 3 architects possibly interested, research and may look at phases on this. I don't think this is, right now it's not costing us any money to look, but I think we have a couple different approaches on how we get going, put it in different phases so we can slowly move forward with it if we decide to. So but I have a little more to bring to the table, but that's, we just still initial talking and some ideas thrown out there. That's kind of where we're at with that. A couple different ideas, so.
Did you say you had 3?
Pardon?
Did you say you had about 3 people?
Yes.
So, that's good.
Yeah, and
That's better than 1 year.
yeah, that's a lot better than one, but yeah, we have, I've had conversations with, I don't know, 5 or 6. We got interest from 3. And one of the architects was the one that designed the school. He came up and did a walk around and looked at it. You know, so we've had 2 come up and do a walk around. And we got another one expressed pretty good interest. So anyway, that's where we're at on that. And of course, we're looking at all options on how to fund it. Part of the process.
Chris, on your grant you're applying for, $100,000 parking grant for the building, is there a time limit on that has to be used?
Well, it's within the fiscal year, but it doesn't come out till September.
Okay,
So it would be next year anyway.
okay, so I'm looking at if there's complications with getting an architect, getting that started, and that grant would just kind of float away.
Yeah, we have about a.
That's why my
year and a half.
question, that's my thinking.
Yeah.
So we got about a year and a half window from today's date.
Okay, that helps.
So, I mean, with that,
Yeah,
Nothing under new business, department head report.
just point of reference, the public input meeting with the consultants for the master plan. Just a reminder, will be June 2nd, 2021 at 5:30 at the Town Plaza. This is the time for the public to provide their thoughts and input directly prior to the final master plan. Information to be involved is also located on our town Facebook page as well as our website, where you can go in and suggest ideas, thoughts directly to the consultants. The meeting with the council is at 4 p.m., not 5. I misspoke when I told you 5. I apologize. And that'll be here at Town Hall from 4 to 4:45 on the 2nd for council prior to the public input meeting. As I said earlier, the Wasatch Fund distributed the first benefit payments today, and there will be a second disbursement in mid-June, as well as a final disbursement at the end of June to both families. The ambulance, the mayor and I were down with the county commissioners earlier this morning, and while we didn't get to have public input into that, we did speak with some of the commissioners about kind of where we're at, and did confirm that there is, the barn is here, it is paid for by the county as well as an ambulance. And so we'll have further discussions with the county commissioners as far as that front goes on getting an actual ambulance for that. Hope to have a medical director for the ambulance service by the end of the month. And again, we'll be speaking with the county commissioners again regarding the utilization of the ambulance barn as well as an ambulance for service. And I'm exploring some additional funding avenues for training for EMTs, as well as additional equipment to staff and equip the ambulance when the time comes. Those will be grants and to that light specifically for medical care.
Back up just a bit. Last time I spoke with one of the commissioners, they were supposed to have a commitment and a decision from the new kids on the block.
They provided 2 bids today, and they went with the one with another outfit for ambulance services,
Yeah, not AMR.
not AMR.
Is
it priority?
Priority,
Yeah,
correct.
That's who they, okay, that's what I was fishing for, but my memory is.
But they're, yeah, they're entering negotiations with them.
But this would be a +1 to that, where we have it here in Shoshoni, so we actually have an ambulance here irrespective of that, but yeah, hopefully, but that's gonna be, at some point, it's gonna shift to the municipalities to pay for it.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they said.
Yeah.
That's what, not this first year, but the next year, that was what was said.
County commissioners have no obligation to provide anything. Is there anything going on with the state legislature to put that in with fire and police?
Yes, there is. I had last Thursday, my legislative leadership committee of WHAM, we met. I brought that subject up. Sweetwater County is also having some issues, and I believe there's maybe 10 counties in the state having some, but I brought up Sweetwater County. I don't know. But anyway, WHAM is actually looking into what we can do and talking with legislators and get on the problem. So they were, but I brought that up to them in our meeting, and that's, they're gonna work on it.
I know it's inevitable, but I'd rather see it sooner than later.
Yeah. Well, it's, yeah, I mean, we're gonna get on it. Like I said, as soon as the county commissioner announced their problem, sort of knew something on the horizon, you know, FCAG, we jumped in right away, and Du Bois is, of course, they're a lot further in the middle of nowhere than we are, but they're moving forward also and trying to. But we had a pretty good after the meeting with, we met with 3 different commissioners and kicked it around a little bit. 2 of the commissioners sound pretty supportive, one of them maybe not so much.
Well, I would say all 3 were supportive. 2 saw the utility as a force multiplier for the county. And one county commissioner, I think, was just locked in on just having one here, but through priority. But we didn't really have time to flesh out the whole thing.
Right.
He wanted us to talk more about it.
But we did get it out, had a good discussion, and we'll be talking about it again Thursday at FCAC meeting.
That's all I got. Oh, that's all I got.
Thank you.
Oh,
No, yeah, we neglected for a while to have our Citizen of the Year award. I think we ought to do that. We'll put up voting boxes, typical where we did in the past: senior center, town hall, library. And next council meeting, we'll open the boxes and count the ballots.
Doesn't give me enough time to order signs.
Huh?
Doesn't give me enough time to order signs.
Yeah.
I'll just nominate you.
Yeah, now that it's out there.
No. Oh, speaking of signs,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, speaking of signs, YDOT, Brian, I forget his last name, YDOT came down here. Yeah, Brian Wilson Monday, and reviewed the spots that we had worked. We worked with Chad with YDOT on where to place our signs, and he went and reviewed them and did a little bit of movement where he needed, make sure they're out of the roadways. Someone has a wreck, and that's one of their concerns. But we anticipate maybe tomorrow getting the go-ahead, or Thursday at the latest, for installation of our signs. And I don't know if, Bud, did you have any luck on finding posts?
Well, like I said, I was gonna walk the pavilion. They used to have that rough cut lumber sawmill out there. I went out and looked at their watering station, see what kind of setup they had. But that sawmill is no longer there. Out in the valley, there was a new outfit
Yeah.
right on the hill. I swung in there, but I couldn't find nobody around. So I got a number. I will be calling them. Find the temper for it.
But the signs are here. They're down at the shop.
There's another one between the Midvale store and the intersection down there.
Yeah, on the right side.
Yeah.
That's before you get,
On the way out, it was just right before Ocean Lake there.
Yeah. that's it.
Yeah, it's right there on the hill there.
Yeah, they haven't been there in a bit.
What's that?
So that's when you went to, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
their mill, was there mill there? Sawmill there?
No, they had a, yeah, they had a little, well, where they were cutting the lumber, you know, and then their saws was laying around, but nobody around. So they had been there.
Yeah,
They
I
wouldn't
seen
just
them
leave
out there.
their chainsaws laying around, I wouldn't think, but, you know,
They were really good Alaskan mill. They were do slabs.
yeah, they were cutting slabs, but they had some regular old timber there
Did you
too.
have to have 8x8?
Well, we were talking just a wall, you know, about 18 inches, I think is what me and Joel was discussing. I don't know if he's got the pictures of kind of how he was
I do have
doing
some,
it, but
yeah.
that's what we were kind of looking at. It's
We've
kind of stair
we've looked
step.
at other towns sort of the way it's,
Well, I got a semi-load of logs, pine.
That's what he had out there. I've got it in my yard, the old rustic look, nothing that's treated green or nothing like that.
You look at it if you want. They came off from Bighorns. Anyway, I bought it last year. Should be seasoned. Got bark on it still. I think it's all pine.
Scrape the bark off of it. and then
treat it what you put in the ground.
Anyway, you can look at some of that stuff, like,
Seal it. Okay.
but they're all
Big
40.
around, or they just build, oh, okay.
Just
And
right.
they start from here and they're firewood logs, what they were brought for, but they're all 40-foot long-ish.
And go on and take a look at them, see what you got.
I hear the price is good on lumber right now.
Yeah. But it's, that'll be relatively good. I also want to bring up, I talked with Nick Bebout today on the property that Bebout still owns right adjacent to the park, that old garage. And they're willing to, he's willing to sell that to us. Sort of for $5,000 cash. And if we tear down his old white building across the street that we've been trying to get tore down and haul that off, that's probably about between a $3,000 and $4,000 project. And then he's willing to, I think he's got maybe 3 or 4 old trailers that need hauled off to the dump, and he's wanting to, he said he would address that also.
Aren't they working on that now?
Huh?
They're working on that, on the trailers, yeah. Over on 5th Street.
Yeah,
I talked to Matt, his boy,
he mentioned that.
yeah. They're working on 1 unit right now over
Yeah.
there.
But I think there's 3 or 4 that qualify to get,
I wouldn't doubt it.
yeah, you know, and so anyway, that was. And then beyond, I think that old garage probably gonna need to be tore down. I don't know, we can salvage it, or I looked at it with that window on the side, and could you make a concession stand? You know, I don't know what you could do with it, but probably get tore. It was probably built in the 40s, what Nick said.
He put some paint on it. That's cheap.
Yeah, I don't know, but that we had that conversation this afternoon. He's been in Arizona for the winter, and then we was gonna get together last week, but we just finally got together today. I just wanted to bring that up in conversation,
At least it's going.
so. So anyway, any thoughts on that? Am I going the right direction?
I think you're in the right direction. Needs to go.
Okay. Anyway, that's really, I think, all that I have. Anybody have something else?
I do. Sorry I was late. Took my wife to a doctor's appointment. And figured we'd make it back in plenty of time, but we had some x-rays we were planning on. So that maybe run late there. We were over at Cody doing that. Had a discussion with Garrett Herbst several times on our 70 acres that we have, where Buddy goes through checking the wells and everything. Garrett has offered to fix whatever fencing needs fixed over in there, if he could put 6 horses in there. To me, it's a good idea because just like when the cows are out there, they stomp down the tumbleweeds. We get those tumbleweeds in town. And I think horses there is actually ideal. Like I said, just 6. He didn't need a bunch of them. There's like 70 something acres, I think, right there. 6 horses is not going to turn into a pile of dirt. But with us developing that property out there and there being horse property out there, driving by seeing horses out there is kind of appeasing on the eyes, which might help to develop that. So I was hoping we could.
You have all the fence, is there fencing up on all that 70?
There's
Okay.
fencing up there, and he says if anything needs fixed, he'll fix it. But like I said, in my opinion, I think it's good for what we're trying to do out there, so people can say, oh, look, there's already horses out there type of thing. He's willing to pay, reasonable, what did he pay for where the cows are, where his bulls are? What is he paying out there? I forget. $150 or something. I don't remember.
Between 100 and 300, I think.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not that much, but I don't know what the council thinks on that, but I think to me, it's good because, it's a agricultural mining town and oil town. And I think it adds to the town just having the horses out there for ambiance, if anything. But then again, I've always been around horses and cattle and I like them. So I just wanted to bring that up, see what the council thought on that. It's like I said, it's just up to 6 horses. He's thinking more like 4, but could go up to 6. I just want to see what you guys thought. We're on that. You guys can even think about it. We can talk about it next week or something.
Is that a property that was bought from Tony Olson?
Come on, buddy.
That means you gotta put a cattle guard in there and open and close the gate.
You just need to close the gate.
Well, right now, I mean, we got some issues out around our wells, which we only own the land right by the wells.
Mhm.
We've got bulls rubbing up against the fence,
Mhm.
tearing our fence down, which is probably I've got a sanitary survey by EPA tomorrow, and I'm probably gonna get wrote up on that.
When fences like that get torn down, why don't we just get to contact Garrett? I'm sure he'd be more than happy to fix them.
Well, what they were doing was, we got them little chain link fence.
Mhm.
You just got that U latch,
Mhm.
they'll rub up against it, push it open. By the time I get out there, they're all inside there.
Mhm.
And now you're talking the property that's out by the highway, correct?
Yeah.
And then another issue, and nothing against horses or anything, but we got to protect our infrastructure.
Mhm.
We've got blowdown hydrants there. Horses will rub against something, so will bulls,
Mhm.
so
Not
that's
talking about
something
no cattle in there, just horses.
to keep in mind.
No, I was gonna ask you what your thoughts were on it, but yeah, there wouldn't be any cattle in there, just
I mean,
horses.
personally, in my position, I'd be against it.
Mhm.
I mean, that's my opinion. Because
And,
my duty is to protect. the
oh yeah,
community
absolutely,
For
absolutely.
safe drinking water,
Mhm. Oh yeah,
and I just don't want anything to jeopardize that.
and what would, if you don't mind me asking, what's the jeopardy, what do you worry?
Well, rubbing up against them hydrants.
Okay.
For one, there's hydrants stick up out of the ground, they're blow down hydrants on the
Mhm.
transmission.
Okay, no, like I said, that's fine. I just wanted to bring it up. He came to me. I wanted to.
Last thing I want to do is go through a boil order again,
Mhm.
for a line being broke.
No,
Things like
Absolutely.
that.
Oh, yeah, no,
And
absolutely.
That's my position, and I, am to protect our water system, and so.
Nope,
that's
I'm
my
fine with
point of
that.
view.
That's why I was bringing it up, so
So,
I got
well, I
no
appreciate
issues.
it, yeah. So,
No issues.
but like I say, right now, we got that issue with the bulls,
Mhm.
they-
How do you want that remedied? I mean, can you add some fencing right there or?
And discussing it with the engineers, and they kind of came up with ideas, but.
Thanks. Not much of a bud, that's what I think. Our first thought was just a little electric fence that goes around it. Just keep the bulls off of it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just that simple.
That works.
Thank you for coming.
Could you please introduce yourself?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I'm Jeff Gee. I'm with James Gores and Associates. So,
Would it be efficient enough to put T-posts around it and just string some fencing along all the way around it right in there? Would that help, or what do you, what's?
the only problem with something like that is then it's more permanent and it's harder for Bud and his crew to get
Gotcha.
equipment in and out.
So he just needs to put a little portable just put some hot fence up there and call it good.
Yeah.
Okay. I will let Garrett know.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep.
The other thing I had was Jennifer had her four-wheeler stolen.
Yep.
It wasn't stolen? Oh, your trailer, four-wheeler trailer stolen. So I just wanted to bring it out there, people be aware of that, watch your items. How I look at it is, it's pretty much a routine in everybody's little neighborhood. So if you see something that looks out of place at nighttime, call it in. I mean, they don't need all your information. If you don't want to give your information, you don't have to. Just say, hey, so-and-so car's been sitting out here for a while. We're not used to seeing it. You know, call it in. It might help out a neighbor from getting something stolen. And there's also, there's little camera, there's video out there to where, it shoots video of people when they're on your property and it goes directly to your phone and it's not that expensive. That might be a possibility if you got a lot of stuff in your garage or shop or anything else, put a couple of those up. I mean, we got a good law enforcement presence with all the police officers that we have. They can't catch it all. The community having a little more input when they see something out of place, even if it's not out of place, but you call it in, it's better than not calling it in. Because I know myself, I'd love to see those little scumbags caught. Because that stuff pisses me off. Everybody works hard for what they own and we get idiots out there that are doing this. It's just not right. So those are just suggestions. Do what you want with them, but I hope they catch them. That's all I got.
1 for 2. Anybody else have anything? None being, I have a motion to adjourn.
So bless you. Second.
We move to second adjourn. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh. Yeah, this-
Pretty quick.